wilted trees, power lines that hum, and silence. A silence too deliberate to be natural. Into this mausoleum of sound walks Maya Rios, graduate student, believer only in what can be measured, counted, or recorded. Tonight, Maya will chase a sound that isn't supposed to exist. She'll discover that curiosity isn't always the lamp of reason. Because on Dyer Lane, science meets superstition, and her search for truth will be recorded in the anthology of strange occurrences.
My name is Maya Rios. I'm a graduate student in wildlife biology at UC Davis. I came to Dyer Lane for one reason: the birds. Not the ghost stories, not the TikTok thrill seekers, the birds. Dyer Lane is a lonely strip of cracked asphalt between Roseville and rural Placer County. At dusk the lane feels like a held breath, low light and eucalyptus silhouettes. The first night I stepped onto the asphalt, something moved through me. I felt it in my ribs, a low, rhythmic vibration rising through the pavement. It was too slow for machinery, too steady for passing cars. I set my small recorder on the ground and stood very still. When I looked at the waveform later, it didn't look like sound. It looked like a heartbeat, regular and strange, pulsing beneath the pavement. That realization made the silence around me deepen, not lighten. The second night the birds lined the eucalyptus, black against the bruised sky. They perched like punctuation marks, waiting, completely still. Normally they chatter and shift, here their throats didn't move. It wasn't quiet. It was silent, as if the whole canopy was listening. When the pulse rose, the birds seemed to hold their breath with it. I started tracing patterns, timing, intensity, the way it rolled down the lane. I walked the lane at dusk for weeks, mapping beats against tree trunks and electrical poles. The recorder kept returning the same steady waveform, a low-frequency arc. I played it through speakers under the eucalyptus and watched for a reaction. At certain amplitudes the birds hunched and flattened, an almost reflexive freeze. I began to think this pulse wasn't just vibration, it was an exchange. Something beneath the road was speaking in a language of rhythm. One night the pulse shifted, the waveform took on a new, deliberate cadence. On my screen the curve matched a rhythm that felt eerily like my own breath. Without warning, every bird launched together, rising like a single shadow. They flew without calls, wings beating in time with the low, bright pulse. The pavement hummed under my feet and the recorder's lights jittered in sympathy. I stepped back and the lane's heartbeat seemed to answer me, and it had noticed.